Hi, today we're talking to Wayne in Essex. How are you today, Wayne?
I'm not too bad. Yourself? You all right?
I'm fine, thank you. Yes.
Good,
So
good.
tell us a little bit about yourself, Wayne, and your stroke story.
My stroke story started nearly 12 months ago, March 2020, the year everyone wants to forget. I, we think so far, still not fully got to the bottom of it, which is an ongoing problem within stroke survivors, trying to find out what really happened. As far as I'm aware, so far from going through various things with the consultants on the telephone, I suffered a left side MCA stroke. I remember the day, and it was the 18th of March 2020, so coming up now to a year. So a year ago, I never thought I'd be sitting here talking to different strokes and telling my story. Yeah, I got up for work that morning. I was a bus driver. Got up for work, left the house, got in the car, drove 18 miles to work. Got to work. One of my colleagues said to me, "Wayne, you don't look quite right." They weren't aware of the signs of what a stroke was. I All they said to me was, "Go in the loo, mate. You've put your work tie on around your neck, literally, not around my shirt, around my neck." So they knew something weren't quite right. So they looked at me and said, "Look, you can't go out and drive a bus." I was like, "Okay, fair enough. We're going to send you home." Oh, all right. I'll go back out to the car, jumped in the car, drove back home again, another 18 miles. How I didn't kill myself, I'll never know. But I drove back home. I got home. My wife had the sense to realise something weren't quite right. I got home. She said, "Look, just go up to bed. And you might be tired." All right, fair enough. Being a bus driver is not the easiest job in the world. You don't get much sleep in between shifts.
Yeah.
So I went up to bed. About 2 o'clock, my missus come up, woke me up. Bear in mind, I went to work at 8 o'clock, 8:30 in the morning, and I was late as well. So I knew something weren't right because my supervisor was phoning me up, going, "Where are you? Where are you?" And I was late, and I think that put me under a lot of pressure as well. Because I remember driving down the road and I was hitting parked cars, so I damaged my car, and I just had, by the grace of God, getting to work. I'll never ever understand how I did that, but it's the thing, your human body, isn't it? It's fight or fly, and I think I entered that. And when I got home, my wife said to me, "Oh, your face has dropped." So the typical stroke signs were there. At the time, I hadn't had a clue. I was like, I just felt unwell. But the previous night, I had the headache from hell. I never suffered from headaches. It felt like I had a little man in the side of my head with one of them digging drills trying to break out the side of it. And I just didn't put the pieces together, which you don't. I just thought I was tired and that. But my missus and my daughters that were at home, they were like telling me what had really happened. And they phoned 999, the paramedics come and they diagnosed me having had a form of a stroke. And I was blue lighted into the hospital. From there on, I don't remember much of it. At one point, I thought I'd been given the clotbuster drug, but it transpires now that wasn't the case. Because I've got, from the outside, physically, I look fine. Mentally, that's another story. But physically, I've been really blessed because I can move about still. As far as I'm aware at this moment in time, having a stroke when lockdown was coming in was a battle because I spent 2 weeks in hospital. They checked me over, they wouldn't release me, so I don't know how bad I really was because I never got to see my missus because they introduced a lockdown, so I didn't see family for days, so I never knew what really was going on. And then they released me to come home in the beginning of the April, and ever since I've just been indoors. It's been a battle. The first lockdown was easy, that was for sure, because we had the weather.
Yeah.
This lockdown, different kettle of fish. I feel it so much more. I struggle, and like I said to my missus and my daughter, "Well, how am I so different?" Like I say, physically, I look fine. You know, I
Yeah.
can walk, I can do tasks. I push myself. I have to push myself. I think it's in my nature. I can't just not do anything, because if you don't, you're going to make things worse at a longer date. My dad's a prime example. My dad had a stroke 10 years ago, and he had quite a bad stroke. And at the time, I'm 40 now. Well, hold on. Yeah, I'll be 41 in October, but I'm 40 now. So when I had the stroke, I was 40. I'm 41. Thank you, Dem. Sorry. The youngest telling me. I'm 41 now. So you have to push yourself on. You can't just think, as much as the human body's an amazing thing, you just got to really, really push. And it's hard, don't get me wrong. There's going to be days where you're going to think, I can't do this. But mentally and physically, the brain's brilliant. It does change its way of working, and that's a good thing. And listen to what your body says as well. On my journey so far, different strokes has been a blessing, because the inspiration from the survivors and the warriors out there is amazing. Just every day is just, I look and I read, especially Facebook, with a group on Facebook. That is an amazing group of an amazing set of individuals. And like now, I never was aware of emotional liability, and now I'm like fully aware of it. You know, talking about things that I find hard as well. And like I said to my missus, and my wife, and my daughter, what's changed in me? And like they said, I've got it written down on my mobile, but I've become more forgetful. I have to have help on the telephone, because I find that a struggle, talking to someone at the end of a phone.
Yeah.
Before a stroke, I was fine. My concentration levels are so up and down, it's unbelievable. But the impulsive behaviour, that's something I never thought I would have. I was quite level-headed. You know, I was the one that people come to for the advice, and now it's the other way around. I have to go to other people for advice. I'm very snappy and agitated a lot, but I think that's lockdown's causing that a lot at the moment. And tiredness, that it's the other way around for me. You hear about a lot of stroke survivors and warriors suffering with fatigue. Yeah, it's a proper battle for them, but I'm the other way around. I try and go to sleep, and the brain doesn't want to switch off, and it's quite annoying, because you're like, look, please, just let me get some sleep. Let me try and let my brain heal, and it just doesn't want to play ball, and it's quite annoying and frustrating. So I could get where a lot of people come from when they can't sleep. It's horrible. But now I think it's a mental thing as well, because I had a thing where death had really played heavily on my mind. And beforehand, I wasn't scared of it, but now I'm so much more aware. And I don't know if that's a good thing or bad thing, but now I have to switch the TV off. If a funeral advert comes on, or anything, I have to switch the TV off. And that's quite frustrating. And I was watching a programme on TV Sunday, that Finding Alice.
Oh, right, yeah.
And the way they celebrated death in their way, I found quite relaxing. No, I don't want to be morbid, but I think it's the fact that you realise that your time could have been up. And I know a lot of people try and skirt the subject, but I think you have to confront it. It's like everything, you have to confront your fears and that. And I suppose I'm trying to, and it's hard, like anything. But if you don't fight it, you're never going to get anywhere.
Exactly. It is quite a scary thing once you've had a stroke. And like you say, you question your own mortality probably for the first time in your life.
Yeah.
And I think it's that, never mind everything else connected with the stroke, I think that is enough to give you a huge shock. when you've had a stroke. It's just, you think, wow, especially at 40, you just don't think it's going to happen, kind of thing.
That's the thing. Like, I've got an 18-year-old daughter. I've got a 12-year-old daughter. So for me, one of the things that kept me going, I think, while I was stuck in hospital, after initially having a stroke, was thinking, right, I'm going to be able to walk my 18-year-old daughter down the aisle, which, touch wood, I will be here to do that, and I know I will. And it's pushing on and being so positive, and like now, like I've come to a point where, being at home, recovering, and that is a key to it. Any stroke survivor out there is taking time for yourself to recover at your own pace. There's physios, there's therapists out there, and they will push you, because that's their job, to push you hard to get you back. And there's a saying, and a lot of stroke survivors who've just had a stroke, my heart goes out to all of you, because you're on a long, long, long road, and it's not easy.
No.
But there's people out there that will help you, and that, you've just got to accept the help that they want to give you. I've been lucky. I've had my wife who's helped me a lot, and my daughter. So family is critical, and they've helped me a lot, and they've gone through a lot with me, and you mourn your old self pre-stroke, like I have as well. And I never thought it was a thing, but it's a real thing. And there's been days where I've just got up and I've been like a bear with a sore head sort of thing, and I've snapped, and I felt so bad for snapping and that. And even now, talking about it, I'm getting worked up. I can feel the eyes welling up a little bit, and that's the emotional liability again. And that's something I'm still trying to get to grips with. And I think that comes with time, doesn't it?
Well, that's it. And certain things will throw it up again and everything. I mean, you just talking about it makes me think about it. And, it is hard to come to terms. You just think, why can't I go back to how I was? But it's just, we know we've all got to accept the new normal, as they call it, kind of thing. But, it's hard some days to accept it.
Yeah.
You think, why should I be having to accept a new normal at this stage in my life, kind of thing? And then you get a moment, you get over it, and you think, well, this is just the way it is, and I've got to get over it because I've got to get on. Look at your dad.
Yeah, my dad, like 10 years ago now, he works on the front line in the NHS. He's don't wrong. I still see the scars of that stroke to this day. He can talk. I can hold a conversation with him. We can go out and we do things, not that we have done because of lockdowns and that, and they've been isolating to keep me safe and to keep themselves safe. So I well appreciate that. But he's a warrior, and he goes out there every day, 5:30 in the morning. He'll go to work, and it doesn't faze him, and it just amazes me.
Yeah.
But it's just made me now question, what's my logical next step? Now, I was a bus driver and I held a professional license for 4 years. Now, once I had that stroke, that was gone in an instant. It was gone within 3 weeks because DVLA do their thing. Now I'm at the point where, do I want to do that battle to get it back? And I know in the bottom of my heart I can get it back, and I will get it back. I'm determined to. It's going to be a long process, 6 months they're now saying, before I can get it back.
Right.
I'm lucky I can drive the car, and I only go on short journeys. I don't go on long, long journeys no more. I don't know if I could cope with it. I've not tried the theory out, and I don't think I want to try the theory out just yet. I used to love driving as well. Yeah. That's why I think I gravitated to being a bus driver, and I love it. And I miss it. I miss the job massively, which is crazy because I found out yesterday that 2 of my older colleagues at one of my old depots passed away due to COVID. So, yeah, it's certainly a dangerous. They are frontline workers, but no one appreciates them. So in one
No.
sense, maybe the stroke was a blessing in disguise, but who knows? You know, I've had a chance a year to try and recover, and I think I'm doing all right. But the problem is, in the lockdowns, I haven't seen my consultant, so I don't truly know what really is going on. I'm just going by what they say to me on the end of a telephone, which is quite frustrating.
Yes, there's nothing replaces that face-to-face, consultation, whether it be on the phone or what have you, because it's just, I think it's just better, isn't it?
Yeah,
But hopefully, coming out of lockdown, it's like you were saying, people should accept the help. Well, people should also ask questions and ask for help and everything. So if you're not happy, if you want to ask more questions of your consultant, I would ring them up when, we can go back into the hospitals for outpatient appointments and sort of say, can I come in and have a conversation with you? I've got a few questions and what have you. And, ask them, even if it puts your own mind at rest. But yeah, it's for getting your license back. I suppose it's not just a case of getting your license. It's being able to do it with lockdown, isn't it?
yeah,
You know.
that's the hardest thing. Been, like I was reading through all the paperwork to it, and that how I understand some of the DVLA paperwork still, I'll never know.
I don't
But
think
that's the
anybody
thing.
does.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like there'll be people watching this video and thinking, "Oh, he looks all right," But up here in the old brain, it's a different kettle of fish.
Yeah.
Physically, yeah, I can go out, I can wash my car, and I can do things like that. So I feel really, really blessed. And don't get me wrong, don't take my admiration away from those people that have had really bad strokes who physically are struggling. My heart really does go out to you, because just within a heartbeat, that's taken away, and I feel truly. I don't know if lucky is the right word to use, to be physically able to carry on as I do now. I think that's a blessing, maybe. And I don't know, I think I struggle to talk about it because I see so many people on their road to recovery and their battle they go through day in, day out, to get that little finger to work, to get that arm to move, to get that nerve signal going again. Yeah, I don't know what to say. Do you know what I mean?
I know.
It's don't get me wrong. Every stroke is different, without a shadow of doubt. And there's a couple of people who I've got to know through different strokes, who had strokes at the same time as me, that suffered similar strokes, that didn't suffer physically. And they say the same as me. On the outside, yeah, people
Yeah.
just assume you're okay, but that brain isn't okay. That brain has had, in essence, a heart attack.
Yeah.
And it's still recovering. And yeah, I've got movement in the right places I should. And I appreciate that every living moment, because I know within that heartbeat, that can be taken away from you. And no warning. That's it. And then learning to get it all back again, that's the biggest battle. But it's achievable without a shadow of doubt. It really is achievable. I'm not talking from experience, but I've seen it with my dad. So, firsthand, I know it's a struggle. And yeah, people, they can do it. If you've got the right mindset, you can do anything.
Yeah.
Like people, my friends have been asking me and saying to me, what's your next move? Because I don't know if I can go back to work or not. Like as in previous job as a bus driver, my intentions are to get my professional license back, which I will do by the summer, hopefully. And then after that, I don't know, because COVID has taken basically my industry away. It's like the airline industry. It's near enough non-existent now. So I don't know. I'm looking at my next move, and I think I may start my own business up, because I don't want the pressure of a boss on top of me no more. I want to be in charge of my destiny.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm gonna look at. And I've looked at doing mobile car washing because I'm still, but it's good for me to keep me physically active as well, and that's more important.
Yes.
So that's what I'm looking at doing for the summer, maybe, or long term. We'll see when I get to that bridge and cross it. But at the moment, I'm just concentrating on me and my ongoing battle. Some days I get up and I forget I've had the stroke because I think, right, I can crack on, I can take on the world. I know I can't, but in my head, I can try and do as much as I can. You know, and yeah, COVID is really, and these lockdowns, this third lockdown, second lockdown, whatever it is, been a struggle, major struggle for my mental health, and I didn't think it would. Being confined to the house, yeah, I know I'm safe, and that's a good thing. Don't get me wrong, but for all of us out there that are struggling, there is help. Samaritans, not Mindhead, one of the Mind.
There's Headway, Mind.
Headway, yeah, Mind.
Yeah, Mind.
You know, reach out to them if you're struggling. Please do. They're there to help. I'm lucky. I live in a house full of women, so I'm kept on the straight and narrow. That's for sure. But
it is hard, and you know, it's because we're so used to. Well, I think us stroke survivors here now today, there's two lives we've sort of had. We had the life pre-stroke, and we had life pre-pandemic. You know, it's two totally different things, and I think, you know, you've got to get used to the new you after stroke, because like you say, you might not have physical issues, but the mental issues are still there. Your brain's still rewiring, and you know, each day throws a different thing at you, and we have to learn how to deal with them and whatever. But then there's the life where we're used to, oh, I need such and such, right, I'll go up such and such and get it. Well, you can't because the shops are shut, or you know, you can't you can't really just go out in the car for a drive because you're not supposed to. You know, and it's things like that. It's been restricted, I think, and you know, that's difficult as well. So I think you know, we're all dealing with two different things here, whereas you know, most people are dealing with the pandemic on its own kind of thing. But probably the first lockdown didn't hit you because you were probably still in shock from having a stroke and the initial recovery and everything.
Yeah, 2 weeks in hospital. That because in hospitals when they found out on, you know, the ECG machines you're hooked up to, monitoring the heart, they said I had it's a French word, points to do something. French was never my strong point. You know, maybe the stroke should have given me a bit of French, maybe, because you do read that strokes can
give you a foreign accent all of a sudden.
Yeah. Never worked in my case, I tell you.
No, me.
But I apparently had something with the heart. It was jumping about or something. So they fitted in summer just gone. They fitted I call it my Fitbit, but it's a little digital loop we called over the top of the heart. Because one of the things with a lot of people unaware, they get diagnosed with PFOs.
Yeah.
And for me, when I was on my journey, coming out and finding different strokes after I come out of hospital and then starting reading more stuff about it, I was like, oh my God, it's quite scary. And now when you start talking to people and now, August is when I had my loop recorder fitted, and I was petrified because I was never one for having an operation. So that was the first ever operation I've had.
Yeah.
So to have that, I was petrified, even though 10 minutes, bang, surgeon slipped it in, I was awake. I was like, wow, this is wicked, actually. And now I don't think nothing of it. And, you know, these PFO closures they do, a routine, And I think, my God, modern medicine really, really has changed things so much for the better.
Yeah.
And yeah, the NHS, yeah, they may be struggling, but my God, they still do amazing things under such immense pressure. And I, for one, will always be thankful for them because like I say, I didn't really know how bad I really was in hospital. I knew I weren't good. I know that. And yeah, the fact I'm at home now doing this interview speaks volumes. And like, for any warrior out there that's on their start of their journey, and there's a few of you, just go with the flow. Is my advice. Is go with that flow. You know, keep in contact with consultant. It's hard, don't get me wrong, because we're all doing Zoom calls with consultants, and in my case, telephone calls. I've not seen my consultant face to face since I had the stroke in March of 2020. So I really don't know what's actually really happening with me. I'm just going from 1 minute to the next, and I think that's the only way you can be nowadays. Yeah. Which is frustrating, without a shadow of doubt.
Definitely. You know, it's good on one hand because it's keeping you safe because you're staying at home and not going into hospital environment. But then, like you say, on the other hand, it's that face-to-face contact, you know, and the chance to ask questions and not feel you're on a time limit with a phone call and what have you.
Mm.
And you know, it's well, you've got to put your trust in them, and they obviously don't think there's anything for you to worry about.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and think positively. You know, think that way. So
So I'm, like with this interview, I'm trying to put myself in from my perspective as a survivor, and then people who are going to watch this who have just entered a very select club, and I use that word lightly because we use it as a bit of humour because it is a select club.
yeah,
That are now on their journeys. They're scared. They're petrified. This is new. This is a new world to them. Like you say, you mourn your pre-stroke life, and for a lot of us, we've had interesting lives, and a lot of us have now accepting the new us, and that's, I found that a struggle. But now I don't. Now I just think, right, yep, this is it. You know, let's
yeah.
go and smash a few more barriers.
Well, that's it. You know, at least we're here to go and do whatever, you know,
Yeah,
is next
yeah,
to us all. And, you know, that's a major achievement, you know, and we've just got to, like you said, everyone's got a different stroke story. Everyone's got different issues to deal with. But I think different strokes, and especially the Facebook group, gives you some comfort in the fact that you see you're not the only one. Not that you'd wish it on anybody else, but you know, you think you're the only younger person that's had a stroke, and you don't realize what you're feeling are things related to your stroke until you see somebody else saying, well, I feel such and such, or I do such and such, or I can't do such and such. And you think, so it's not just me imagining it or what have
yeah.
you, you know. And the it's a support. It is a big support. I definitely found it a big support when I first found it. I'm not one for posting a lot on Facebook, so I read a lot of the posts at first and got a lot of comfort from it and support and what have you. And you know, I think that's what we all need. You know, that's what Different Strokes is about. It's that peer to peer support, and we definitely all need it.
Yeah,
You
well,
know,
that.
even if
Even
you're one
now,
of the
like,
people that sort of say, no, I don't need it, I'm fine, I can do it on my own. No, I don't think any of us can.
you can't do it on your own. You have to have that support network behind you, no matter if it's family, friends, different strokes, all the stroke association charities. There's fair few out there, but different strokes, especially for younger people. Now, 40 is still, to me, is no age.
Yeah.
You know, I'm in the middle of what I'm out here to achieve in life, and I'm here to look after my kids and my family, and I will do that until man upstairs decides to think otherwise, you know. Yeah, you know, people assume strokes happen to the elderly. No, not
Yeah.
at all. You know, when I first had it and I started reading people's stories on the Facebook group, 24, 22, what?
Yeah.
That's quite scary, don't get me wrong. Then people in their 30s, and then obviously people in their 40s, then people in their 50s, which ain't old neither. People in their 60s as well, they're not old at all. In my eyes,
Yeah.
maybe I'm just more long-sighted than anybody.
No, it's, you know, like you say, you hit the nail on the head. We've all still got a life to live, whether, you know, you're in your 20s or in your 50s kind of thing. You've still got your life coming up. You've got responsibilities, like you've got family, children, what have you, or you're starting out on your career or whatever. We've all got something to keep fighting for. You know, we're not ready to sit and watch daytime TV all day.
I'm getting frustrated with it.
So do I.
But then you,
Especially,
but then you go to Netflix or Amazon or Disney Plus, whatever you fancy, and you're like, I'm bored of that as well. You can't win, can you?
when I was growing up, we had 3 TV channels. Now we got loads of stuff to watch, and I know exactly where you're coming from. You're like, can't find anything to watch. Well, how on earth did we survive on 3
Yeah,
channels?
3 channels, yeah.
When Channel 4 started, that was, whoa, we've got 4 channels now, aren't we lucky? I'm showing my age now.
No, but it's true though, isn't it? Though that's the thing. Like in this lockdown, this current lockdown, that's really done me. And I didn't think it would. I thought yeah, I'll be all right. I'll get through this. I can cope being indoors. Like even when we was in the tier system, I didn't want to go out then. So my missus had to write up with me. She was like, "You need to go out, blah blah blah. We need to go shopping. We need to get some fruit and whatever." And now I'm like, "Yeah, this is fine. This suits me in one sense."
Yeah.
But I miss being outdoors, and I miss seeing some of my friends having that face to face. I think it's the fabric of life, that human interaction.
Yes.
We all need and want, you know, and I didn't think I'd miss it as much as I do.
Yeah. I think it's because we are so used to it. You know, like you're doing something and you need a hammer, and you think, oh, I'll go around the corner and I'll ask Dave if I can borrow his hammer.
Yeah.
Well, you can't really just go around the corner now and ask Dave if you can borrow his hammer. So it's the little things that matter the most. And I think this lockdown, Christmas was the big thing for everybody.
Yeah.
You know, especially with all of us down south, because we got Christmas totally taken away from us, didn't we?
Yeah. That was it.
Straight into tier 4 and everything. Our families are all up in Scotland, so you know we haven't seen them for a while, kind of thing, and it's you've just got to get on with it, you know, and but it does get hard at times. You think, oh, you know, could have so and so around for, well, not at this time of year, but so and so around for barbecue on Sunday.
Yeah.
No, you can't. You know, it's just even go for a coffee with somebody. You can't do that just now. And it's just, as I say, it's the little things that really get to you and make you realize, you know, exactly what we're facing just now. Like you say, yes, you know, you feel safe at home. I do as well. You know, and when I go out, I'm like, 2 meters? What don't you understand about 2 meters? Kind of
Yeah.
thing, what have you? You know, because some people are out there breaking the
Oblivious.
rules, not giving a
Yeah. Yeah.
care.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that does
Oh,
wind me up, because I think if we can do it, you know, everyone should be able to do it, you know, and we'd all get through it a lot quicker.
I think as well is I have always been a sociable person. The job, my old job, you know, interacting with Joe Public
Yeah.
day in, day out, you know, never had a problem with that. And now, not being able to see some of my friends who live around a corner, or, you know, not being able to hop in the car and go down to see one of my friends in Cornwall.
Yeah.
You know, it's that's really frustrating. But like you say, there's a reason we've hit this problem, and if we as the human race will work together, we'll get out of it a lot quicker.
Exactly.
But people don't seem this. It seems to be all about me, me, me. You know.
Yeah, and you get the impression that some people want to rebel against it for the sake of rebelling, and they're not actually thinking what they're rebelling against. You know, it's a bizarre world we live in, shall we say?
Yeah, it is. It is.
You know, but hopefully with the vaccines and everything, you know.
Yeah, I think the vaccines are going to help and put the population in a better position, you know, and it needs people to look beyond the fear. And
Yeah.
the media's massively great at stoking the fires. And I don't read the newspaper no more. I refuse to because it's full of nonsense. I look online, and if I want to, and even then I'm thinking, oh, that's full of nonsense. And I look to the reliable sources, and there ain't many of them nowadays neither. And I start questioning things in my own mind, thinking, right, what could be nonsense? What's the truth? And that's hard, trying to find the truth nowadays.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a difficult one, but you know, hopefully we'll see some into it soon. And
Oh, don't get me wrong. There's that light at the end of this bleaking long tunnel.
yeah,
I feel like I've been in it forever. You know, coming out, yeah, coming home to rehabilitate, and to me it seems no different, which sounds crazy, but that's what I mean. Like, people see me, like old work colleagues who come to see me like after I got home and stuff from the hospital, and they were like, "Wayne, you look fine. You look absolutely fine." And I do. It's true. I look fine, and I can talk, and I can hold a conversation.
yeah.
And the fatigue won't kick in with me. And I don't know if I should be frustrated about that or happy. It's one of those. It's one of those catch-22s, you know.
Pros and cons both ways, isn't there?
Yeah. You know, like, I'll go to bed tonight, and I'll go to bed and I won't go to sleep. I'll be up, the mind will be whirling away. And my missus, she'll be asleep next to me, and I'm like, "You're so lucky." You know, just head disappear there and bang, and away she goes, sort of thing. And I'm like, oh, I found watching TV, which they say you shouldn't watch before you go to bed. It seems to does make me tired. So I try and watch a bit of TV before I go to bed, and then I'll conk out, which is a good thing. But one of the things I've taught myself is to have clear thoughts before trying to get to sleep, and think of the good things, you know, and that's what I do, try and do. And I think being positive in your mental attitude, that has worked for me as well. I was always negative. Now I'm the other way around. I'm a lot more positive, and I don't know, my daughter, my wife might argue the toss with me over this, but I'm trying to put myself in a more positive mind frame than negative. And the last few weeks I've been so negative because of what's been going on and stuff. But now you've got to be positive. I'm starting to become a really strong believer in that.
Well, that's it. I think, you know, we've all survived a stroke. That's something to be positive about, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, and we'll battle whatever issues we all battle.
We'll all battle on as one.
Exactly. Go forward, and hopefully going forward, we'll see you getting your bus driver's license back. Maybe not. It might be a new venture, but whatever.
Well, the intention is to fight for it, and the fight that I have to think long and hard. Have I got it in me? Because it's not an easy, like, getting your car license back, which a lot of people find a struggle because of the mobility implications associated and the mental implications with the brain. Because driving ain't easy for anyone. You're processing so much at a very fast pace of knots. So, you know, to do that after having a stroke is amazing. Absolutely amazing. And I say that every time I get in a car and drive around a corner, I think, how the hell am I still doing this?
Yeah.
So when I look back at my journey when I had the stroke originally, and think I drove at least 60 miles an hour, 70 possibly, to work that morning, and how I never hit an oncoming truck, I'll never know. And even thinking back now, the thought of it is quite scary, but it just shows how resilient the brain is. So I know that I can get my bus license back, my professional license back, and I'm going to fight for it. Have to, because I want it. I still want it, even not to use it. So I don't want to throw all that work I did in getting it away. And now I want it, even though if there's an industry to go back to, who knows?
Yeah.
We'll wait and see.
It's like a personal goal, isn't it?
Yeah.
Over everything else. You know, it's like every step we take in our recovery, you know, it's a personal goal, because it might not matter to anyone else because it's a little thing, but to us it can be a big thing.
Yeah. And having those goals to smash is brilliant.
Yeah. You know,
I see it every day on the Facebook group with different strokes.
Yeah.
You know, there's some amazing people there that, to me personally, are inspirations.
Definitely.
You know, and when you hear of them having setbacks, you think, oh my God, you just spent months and months achieving that goal. And now it could be anything, and just knocks you for six. And you're going to get that. It's natural. It's the human body doing what it's telling you. It doesn't want to do that at the moment, but it will do.
It definitely, yeah. You know, and like you said before, it's an amazing thing. You know, you look on the group and people have had strokes years ago, then suddenly out the blue, you know, their arm will move or their leg will move or something, and you think, well, you know, it's sat all these years, you know, not doing what you want it to do, and all of a sudden it does. And, you know, it just shows you sometimes you've just got to give things time. And, you know, I don't think
Time is a healer.
Yeah. And nobody can predict what the brain's going to do either. You know, it's a fantastic thing. It's a debilitating thing as well, because, you know, it can knock you for six, but also
I just hope my personal story helps somebody, because, you know, I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy.
No.
Because it robs you of everything you've worked for. And being a young stroke survivor, and people don't get that, but other people don't see what really happens. You know, it's only when it happens to you're more aware of it. You know, and I just hope my story can benefit anyone out there who's watching this, because, you know, it's hard. You know, and I try. And when I first had it, I read so many different posts on the Facebook group with different strokes, and it scared me.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it gave me comfort.
Yeah.
And now you have to have that select what you want to read and what you don't want to read on the Facebook group, because there's some horror stories there, and it's people being true, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
You know, and I just want my story to help anyone. And I'm quite active on the Facebook group, and people can come and sound me out and talk to me privately. I've got no problem with that whatsoever. Like I say, I'm a very sociable person anyway. But talking to other survivors is key as well. I found that a benefit, talking when we've had a load of these different stroke social meetings and on Zoom, and I found that such a help.
Yeah.
And that. But to get my story out, I think it's important, because, you know, every stroke survivor has a different story to the next person.
Yeah.
You know, and I think it's not stigma, but like going back to people looking at me physically and thinking, yeah, you look fine, you know.
Yeah.
And I do, and I think there's stigma associated with that because they think, oh, he's a stroke survivor. He shouldn't be able to speak properly. He shouldn't be able to walk correctly. And that annoys me because I think, well, hold on. In my head, it ain't right.
No.
It's battling away
Yeah.
up there. And, you know, like talking now for long periods of time takes it out of me.
Yeah.
I've learned to, you know, now I've learned to deal with that and accept that. And I'll now, once I finish this with you, I'll go and sit in my living room where it's quiet.
Yeah.
And just chill for 10 minutes, let the brain
recharge.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you and me both. It's hard to explain it to people that don't know what you're going through as well. And then, like you say, I get that. Well, you look fine. You must be all better now. Well, no, but you don't have this head on your shoulders, you know. But I sometimes think, well, there's no point in explaining because you've made your mind up that I'm okay. And, you know, and trying to explain it sometimes, you just can't find the words to explain it.
Yeah,
You know?
it's like the other day I was sitting in my living room and my daughter was sitting there, and my daughter's got ADD and anxiety issues. So she, bless her, she's got a heart of gold, and she's sitting there and she's struggling in this lockdown massively, and it's opened my eyes to see how my little girl is struggling, and I hate seeing her like this. And she sits there with like a fidget cube, and she was clicking it to help her. And then I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, that's really annoying me, the noise. And I'm thinking, oh, where normally I wouldn't, I wouldn't think nothing of it. It'd be filtered out. But it was annoying me, and I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna have to walk out the room just to.
Yeah.
And it's things like that people don't see. You know, the brain's amazing and it can do amazing stuff. But when it gets overwhelmed, my goodness, you know it does. It's like
definitely.
And I'm still learning to cope with that now, and that's a year down the line, you know.
Well, I'm 2.5 years down the line, and I'm still dealing with it. You know, if the TV's on and somebody starts a conversation, the TV suddenly becomes really loud, and I can't hear the person talking to me. And you just can't concentrate. You just can't filter one out like you used to be able to do.
I think you've just answered the question for me as well, actually. Because I'll put the TV on and I'll sit there and watch whatever we're watching, and I'll turn it up really loud and not think nothing of it. My daughter, who's 18, she'll come and go, Dad, why is the TV so loud? I don't know. It don't seem loud to me. But to her, it's massively loud. But then I think, again, it's an age thing, isn't it? The older you get, hearing goes, doesn't it? Or selective hearing, as I say.
See, I'm the opposite. I've got to have it turned down from everybody else. But suddenly that TV noise or the radio noise or whatever is on in the background becomes really loud in my head. And I just can't concentrate on the person talking to me or what the other thing is. Like, I can't have the radio on in the car anymore because that's another thing to process. You know, I'm too busy concentrating on how you make the car work, where I'm going, how you get there kind of thing without having the radio on in the background. It's like the dog is squeaking now. I don't know if you can hear him in the background. And I'm struggling to concentrate on talking. Yeah. It's bizarre, but
it's just like I say, it's the brain, isn't it? I can hear your dog struggling, and I can feel my brain accepting that there's another noise in the background, and it's like, you know, it's weird, isn't it? Just so weird how the brain is wired.
I know, because when you become parents, you learn to filter out background noise because there's always noise going on. But now it's gone the total reverse. So this might be a good point to end because I think he's after something to eat. He seems to have gone to 3 meals a day all of a sudden in lockdown.
Lockdown for you.
Well, thank you very much for talking to me today.
Thank you for giving me the time to get my story out there as well.
No, and I'm sure it'll be an inspiration to loads of others, and
Really
and hopefully you'll have to let us know how your driving license goes.
Yeah, I will do.
And everything, or what your next venture is going to be.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you then, Wayne.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.